Hi everyone. I hope you're having a nice Tuesday. Here is your stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and news report for Tuesday, January 26th. I will be sharing the latest stimulus news with you in this video, including the status of the $2,000 stimulus checks. House Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer planned to use the reconciliation process to pass more stimulus relief next week. And the White House is now signaling that it could agree to a more targeted relief bill.
Let's start, if we could, just with the state of the American Rescue Plan, if we could, and these stimulus measures. I ask in part because it appears that there's a bipartisan group of senators that are troubled by the amount of money going out, the idea of $1,400 reaching some people at a certain income. 16 of them joined a phone call with you on Sunday. What happened on that call?
Well, look, happy to be here. Good to see you. It was a good call. It was a constructive conversation, and this is part of the process. The president put forward a plan. We're now engaging with members of Congress from both parties to consult with them to make the case on the provisions included, and this is all part of the process. I think if you look at the American Rescue Plan in total, what you see is an effort that is actually what we need to get shots in people's arms, get schools open, get relief to families and businesses, and in a way that is targeted to those who need it most. But we're looking for people's input. We're having the conversation, and we're going to move this forward.
Is there a way to do a more targeted effort in terms of getting that $1,400 just to the people who need it most?
Well, look, I'd make 2 points. The first is if you look at the provisions of the American Rescue Plan, very targeted: hunger, homelessness, unemployment insurance. Certainly, we welcome the focus on targeting, including from Republican members, and those provisions should have broad bipartisan support. When it comes to the checks, we put forward a proposal that, to your point about bipartisanship, passed the House with 275 votes. 44 Republicans voted for it. Certainly, if there are ways to make that provision and other provisions more effective, that's something that we're open to, that we'll have conversations about. But I think if you look in the aggregate, this is an approach that is very much targeted at those workers and those businesses that are struggling the most in this economy.
How concerned are you that some of the stimulus money, at least in the past and perhaps in the future, will end up, frankly, in the stock market? There are anecdotal reports over and over again. In fact, arguments about why the stock market has moved the way it has because stimulus money has been thrown into the markets.
I would step back here and look at what's actually in the rescue plan. The first big piece of this is to underwrite a national vaccine and vaccination and COVID effort about getting shots into people's arms, getting testing ramped up, and getting schools back open. That's money that's going to support concrete efforts that we know we need, and they're long overdue and are key to our economic recovery. Supports to states and local governments so they can avoid laying off teachers, firefighters, cops. Those are resources that will go into the economy and support and stabilize as we're able to get this virus under control. Other elements like unemployment insurance, we see those who are unemployed are looking to deploy those resources to keep themselves afloat and their families afloat. And with respect to the checks, again, if you look at this, 2/3 of the benefit of the checks that have gone out have gone to families with less than $90,000 in income. Those are resources that families are looking, again, to bridge savings if they've lost a job, if they haven't lost a job and they have extra expenses. So, we think that this is a sensible approach and calibrated to the moment that we are in right now, where the risk of not acting, the risk of inaction at this precarious moment in the economy really outweighs the risk of sitting back and waiting and seeing as the virus accelerates and as the economy moves downward.
Hey, Brian, what is the most important focus for this administration? Is it going to be to get a big bill with all the things you just laid out, or is it going to be to get a bipartisan bill?
Look, you heard from the president yesterday. We are at a moment where we need decisive action. We need to move quickly, and we need to move comprehensively. We've learned over the last 10 months what happens if you address this crisis piecemeal. We need to move comprehensively, and we need to move quickly. So that's really our focus. We certainly want to move with as much support as we can.
it sounds like big. If you have to choose between the two, you're going to go with big, and that means budget reconciliation?
Well, look, we need to do what it's going to take to solve this crisis. We can't get schools open if we don't get control of the virus. We can't get control of the virus unless we invest in the resources we need. We can't get people back to work if we don't get the schools open. So, we need to tackle this comprehensively. We're very open to people's input and ideas. That's the process that's happening right now. But we do need to move with speed here so we don't find ourselves a month or 2 or 3 from now in a place where the virus isn't getting under control. The economy is in a worse place. And we're all asking ourselves why we didn't act.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.
I am giving away a $50 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and comment below. On Tuesday, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said that Democrats are preparing to push ahead quickly on President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion relief package. Even if it means using the reconciliation process to pass the legislation on their own, which means leaving Senate Republicans out. Schumer told Democrats in the Senate to be ready as soon as next week to consider a budget resolution that would lay the groundwork for the next relief package. Senate Majority Leader Schumer wants the next Virus Aid and Economic Recovery Act to have a swift passage. This could be done with a simple 51-vote majority in the Senate, rather than the usual 60-vote threshold that is needed. The work must move forward, preferably with our Republican colleagues, but without them if we must, Schumer said after a private meeting of Democratic senators. Time is of the essence to address this crisis. We're keeping all options open on the table. Many Democratic senators are not willing to wait for Senate Republicans, who say that the price tag of President Joe Biden's relief package is too high and the priorities too far-reaching. Democrats are flexing their newfound power as they take control of the Senate alongside the House and White House. It is the first time the party has held unified control in Washington in a decade. Do you think the Democratic Party will help the American people? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Over the past few days, the White House has been meeting privately with groups of Democratic and Republican lawmakers. They are hoping to strike a bipartisan agreement over relief aid. The Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus of more than 50 House lawmakers are set to meet virtually with top administration officials on the Virus Aid and Economic Recovery Package. So far, President Biden has unveiled his $1.9 relief proposal. The next steps remain highly fluid. The dozen senators emerging from a lengthy private meeting with the White House on Sunday evening said they would talk on their own to try to craft a more targeted bill. As proposed, Biden's package would provide $1,400 in direct payments to Americans and billions of dollars for vaccine distribution and other elements to shore up the economy. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters earlier Tuesday that Biden is still looking to negotiate on an aid package, while putting a priority on acting as swiftly as possible before aid lapses in March. But the American people cannot wait until March for another round of stimulus checks. He laid out his big package, his big vision of what it should look like, and people are giving their feedback, Psaki said. He's happy to have those discussions and fully expects it's not going to look exactly the same on the other end. Senator Susan Collins, who led a bipartisan effort for the last $900 billion relief package, is expected to work again with the senators on crafting an alternative package that she has said would be more focused on money for vaccine distribution and tailored economic assistance to the neediest Americans. Congress has approved some $4 trillion in emergency aid since the start of the coronavirus pandemic last year, a stunning outlay and the largest rescue package in the nation's history. Senators from both parties who joined the White House call over the weekend agreed the priority needs to be standing up the country's faltering vaccine distribution system. Brian Deese, who joined CNBC's Squawk Box from the White House, said he has welcomed Republican feedback in recent days and the party's focus on targeting President Joe Biden's relief plan to those in dire financial straits. When it comes to the checks, we put forward a proposal that passed the House with 275 votes. 44 Republicans voted for it, Deese, director of the National Economic Council, said. Referring to the bill the House approved in December that included $2,000 direct payments as proposed by then-President Donald Trump. Certainly, if there are ways to make that provision, and other provisions, more effective, that's something that we're open to, that we'll have conversations about, he added. Deese's comments came as the president's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan faces critiques by a bipartisan group of lawmakers hoping to reduce the proposal's price tag by either passing it in parts or by tightening requirements for families and individuals to qualify for another round of checks. White House officials including Deese held a call Sunday with several moderate Democratic and Republican senators to discuss possible changes to Biden's original plan. It was a good call, it was a constructive conversation. And this is part of the process, Deese said of Sunday's discussion. The president put forward a plan, we're now engaging with members of Congress from both parties to consult with them. I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below for more daily stimulus check updates.